from San Antonio, Texas, everyone. The Spurs have a Western Conference contest on their hands. We're going to take this one on here at the AT&T Center. 2K Sports brings you this broadcast of the NBA. This is Kevin Harlan, and with me, Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg. A quick trip here for the Rockets, just one game away before heading back to Houston. A great start to the season for them, notching 3 wins to tip it off.
You know, checking out the Rockets, they've really been a revelation. I mean, for them to have played as well as they have over the course of this season, you'd have to say they're one of the NBA's best feel-good stories.
I agree with that, Clark. I mean, before this season started, this club was an afterthought. I mean, everybody just assumed that, you know, they would be way down in the standings. There'd be nothing much to write about, but they've been one of the best stories of the year. They've played hard, they've played together, and they've put together a very solid season to this point.
And the Houston Rockets starting 5. The Great is in at the point. Howard is out there with Scola. Then it's Terrence Williams, and it's Martin in at the 2 guard. And for the Spurs, Duncan out there with Blair. And it's Andre Kirilenko. Then it's Jefferson, and it's Parker in at the 1 spot.
Well, that's a nice job on the boards to allow them a second high-quality look.
Now we'll go to Doris Burke, who had a chance to talk with head coach Kevin McHale.
Yes, closing out on shooters and contesting shots is something they talked about over and over in their pregame rundown. He said half of the battle when facing an offense like this is just bothering them when they pull up to shoot, and that every little bit helps and hopefully will wear them down. Consistency, guys, is the key to this defense.
Thanks, Doris. Well, Clark, that's a potent offense they're up against right now, and they know it.
You know, I wouldn't doubt that we see them make a few adjustments on the move over the course of the game, in the flow, making changes.
Well, they're going to have to make some adjustments as the game goes along. This team is too dynamic offensively to deal with by playing one style. So the schemes, I think, will change according to how the game's going.
And it's good. Walk through contact, hits the shot. He'll go to the free throw line.
Well, I tell you what, Kevin Martin is so effective on the offensive end, but his defense just leaves a bit to be desired. He could be better, but he just doesn't give it that much of attention.
Defended by Jefferson. That's tipped. And it's the Spurs with the ball. Well, Clark, you brought up Martin's defense. It really is probably what is keeping him from being among the elite players in the NBA. Steve, you watched a lot of Martin's work on the floor, on both ends of the floor.
I agree with you, Kevin. I mean, he's a dynamic offensive player, but has not put it together defensively. He's got the tools, got great length and speed, but he's got to be more aggressive and more attentive at that defensive end of the floor.
Here's the Great. Last game out, 36 points for him.
You know, Scola has been great the last few years, and the Rockets were able to get a very favorable contract for him. I mean, he's producing at a high level. Good move by the front office there.
Good point, Clark, about Scola's contract. 4 years, $36 million. That is a steal for a player of his talent level.
Yeah, they could have done a lot worse. I mean, to be honest with you, I like Scola a lot as a player, and those numbers are good because, you know, even though it's a lot of money.
Oh, and the dunk by Howard. Here's another look with the Sprite Slam Cam.
You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him.
Here is Parker. What a tremendous game he played against New York. The Great is whistled for reaching in. That is his first foul of the game. Here is Parker. 4-point game. Back to Kirilenko. Out of bounds. And they'll keep possession. Now we get a chance to check out the standings out west. Already we're in December. Look at San Antonio. Off to a great start this season, currently in second. And, of course, the Rockets, a game and a half away.
When I look at San Antonio, they've really caught nobody by surprise this year. I mean, they've got a tremendous track record and the talent to stay on top for a while.
Yeah, and, you know, some people wondered if there'd be a drop-off this season just because of those high expectations, but there really hasn't been a drop-off at all.
On the clock. Baseline jumper. Knocked loose.
Great work hitting in the shooter's face and then getting back to the boards to grab the rebound.
Well, guys, it was the best start in franchise history for the Spurs last season. They got to 40 wins before the end of January. That was a team first, and finished with the second-best record in the league, 61 wins.
Outside Jefferson from past the arc. Once again off the mark by San Antonio. So, Steve, a team you used to play for, the Spurs, essentially a 50-win team for the last 13 seasons, including when you played for them, but they may be nearing the end of their championship window. At least some people think that. How about you?
Well, even Tony Parker said over the summer that he didn't think the Spurs could win a championship anymore. So what a run it's been. 50-win seasons, 13 times in a row. Just incredible. They'll still be very competitive, but this is not a championship team any longer.
Rockets leading by 7. The jump hook, and it's good off the glass. He's got 7.
You can say anything you want about this guy. He's played well in every area.
And you know what? That tells you what kind of game it's been for him. Well-rounded, highly productive in all areas.
And San Antonio calls the first timeout of the game.
You know, guys, after 4 seasons with Coach Adelman at the helm, the Rockets front brass decided to go in a new direction this offseason. A little bit surprising because of Rick Adelman's respect and success around the league. A bold move for a franchise, not afraid to think differently. I think Adelman did a great job helping that team overachieve, though.
Now, defensively, you have to question the effort, but nice play there.
The great foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
Heads-up play, preventing the easy lay-in.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, he saw it was a free layup, didn't want to give that up, so he fouled him to force free throws.
Patrick Patterson, he's checked in for Luis Scola, and he's good on the second. And Steve, you know, Adelman wasn't in favor of the new direction that the front office wanted to go with the Rockets.
Well, that disagreement had to be a big reason they parted ways, because the front office was not very specific about exactly what they wanted to do. But I guess we'll find out soon enough here in the years to come.
Martin with a screen on Kirilenko. Passes it to Martin. Now Kirilenko defending. Martin with the bucket.
Now, I'll tell you what, they've been a step slow here early on.
I agree with you. I mean, they're allowing too many open shots. They've seemed a little sluggish to me.
Outside Jefferson. Duncan with a screen on Martin. Jefferson kicks to Duncan. Patterson's there. The 10-footer. No good from Duncan.
Well, they have come out of the gates with purpose and focus, just gobbling up each and every rebound.
Yeah, Clark, they have really asserted themselves on the glass. We'll see if they can keep this going in the second quarter.
Can't get it to go. Good D by Parker. Spurs trail by 10. Goes up from the top of the key, and that is good. Here's the great. 8 points for him. They rule this one goaltending. Help the shot.
One thing about Pop is that he can be hard on his own players, but he gets their respect because he's equally hard on all of his players. I mean, you could be the 12th man on the bench or Tim Duncan. If you mess up, he's going to let you know about it.
Looking at who's out there now for the Spurs. Nick Dice comes in for DeJuan Blair. And Gary Neal subbed in for Richard Jefferson.
I'm not sure what they're thinking offensively. Poor decision on that pass.
Here's the great. Kirilenko gets a hand on it. Here's San Antonio now. It's a 10-point game. They are coming into this having notched a win against the Knicks in their last game.
Not many wasted trips down the floor. That was a very efficient game for them offensively.
And Steve, they really fed off of each other too. I mean, good passing, good shooting. I think both became contagious. How about that? Nice and easy right there.
Yeah, he didn't even try to do it too much.
No fancy stuff. He'll just take his 2 points, go back and play some defense.
Parker outside. Clock at 6. Lifts up. Deflected by Howard.
Well, I tell you what, guys, his struggles from the field have definitely taken their toll on the team today.
Martin, the pass to Williams. Here's the great. He's picked up by Parker. Patterson. No good. Well, the Spurs will take it the other way.
Last season was Patterson's rookie year out of Kentucky, and he He had a nice season for the Rockets. Not the biggest guy down on the post, but very skilled, and he would always find a way to score when he was given the opportunity.
Backing him down is Duncan. Goes up, and foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot two. Back to Patrick Patterson. Steve talking about him getting those minutes. Here's Parker. So on the floor for Houston. The great, he's in at point guard. Scola out there with Terrence Williams. Then there's Howard. And it's Martin in at the 2. Backing him down is Duncan. Drops it in off the fadeaway. Duncan's got the first basket of the second quarter for the Spurs. Back to Howard. Great D that time from Duncan.
I like the work there, contesting that shot that looked like it was going to be easy, but they forced the miss.
You know what? He got it in close, but couldn't finish in traffic.
Back to Parker. Pushes up, hangs in midair, and converts on the double clutch layup. Parker's got 9. Rockets leading by 4. Here's the great. Howard with a screen on Jefferson. Williams against Kirilenko. 4 on the shot clock. They get it again, and the dunk by Scola.
Well, that's a dunk you will not see very often. You won't pass that one by.
No doubt about that.
I wish he would, though. You can never see too many of those.
It's Jefferson outside, and the rebound goes to Howard.
You know, 9 times out of 10, he's going to knock that one down. He'll spray that one on you.
Outside Williams. Here's the great. 3-pointer. Shot misses.
Not able to find it here in the second. He's off stride and off track just a bit after that one he had earlier.
Kirilenko against Scola. Duncan inside. Out to Parker. With 1 on the clock. And it's San Antonio with another. Here's the great. He's got 10. The great is called for charging. That's his 3rd foul of the game. And why don't we take a chance now to see which teams have been the NBA's highest scoring squads this month. The Rockets number 1. The Spurs second.
I'll tell you what, Kevin, both teams want their scoring to stay this high.
The clock runs out, and we're heading to halftime. The Rockets on top. They lead.
Keep it going for your silver dancer.
Second quarter, which is time to tip off the HB halftime show. So glad to have you with us. The Houston Rockets in front against San Antonio. For the Lakers, a loss to the Bobcats.
Well, both sides have assessed what they need to do over the break in halftime. We'll see now if one can pull out a way here in the 3rd.
Well, the Rockets play in one of the toughest divisions in the NBA, the Southwest. So difficult to win games in that division. In fact, they won only 5 of 16 matchups with their divisional opponents.
All fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups courtesy of Gatorade for the second half of basketball. On the court for San Antonio. They've got Tony Parker. Andre Kirilenko is out there with Duncan. Then it's Jefferson, and it's Blair in at the pivot spot, manning the middle. Kicks to Howard. Dives for it. Well, when you think about the Rockets playing all these games in that rugged Southwest Division, Clark, you know, I feel sorry for them. I mean, a winning record and no playoffs.
Yeah, we just talked about that in terms of how tough the West is. And above all that, they had to play a quarter of their schedule against the toughest division in the league, did the Rockets. There is no easy game when you're in that Southwest Division.
Deflected by Howard. Rockets leading by 4. Here's the great. It's rebounded by Richard Jefferson. Here comes Tony Parker. 19 points in the game. Kirilenko dishes to Parker. Back to Kirilenko. The feed to Duncan. And here's Blair. And the rebound goes to the Rockets. Howard's got his 5th rebound in this one. This is the 2nd outing of the season against the Spurs.
Yeah, I think the result might have been different in that game if it wasn't for the foul trouble. But in the end, in crunch time, their rotation was altered, and that was really the difference.
It's Jefferson outside. Again, the miss by the Spurs.
Tell you what, shooting 20% to start the second half doesn't bode well for how this will play out for this squad.
Howard with a screen on Parker. Howard kicks to Williams. From deep. Tony Parker grabs the miss. Going back to what Steve just said, it was sort of a makeshift lineup for them at the end of their previous loss to this team.
Well, I remember what a tightly called game that was, Kevin, and they didn't play as smart as they needed to.
Here's a second look with the Sprite Slam Cam.
Come on now, I didn't see. Can you believe that finish? Boy, a little bit of flair and flavor at the end of it.
Oh, that'll be a fan favorite, all right.
That was not your average typical dunk.
Here's Scola, and he lays it straight in. Scola's got 10 points.
Well executed possession. They controlled the shot. Nicely done. Boy, it really had to be deflating for the Spurs after winning 61 games in the regular season to be bounced out of the playoffs by the Grizzlies in the first round. And it raised some interesting and difficult questions for them moving forward.
Here is Blair, averaging 8 points a game. Duncan, the pass to Parker. Back to Duncan. Pass to Kirilenko. Williams picks him up. 5 on the clock. Takes a 3, and it's Richard Jefferson with the 3. 12 points for him. Going back, Clark, to that first-round upset, the second time an 8th seed has ever won in a 7-game series, and Spurs were thoroughly outplayed, Steve, by the Memphis Grizzlies. Zach Randolph, Marc Gasol. What a collection Grizzlies got by him.
Yeah, that didn't feel like an 8th seed, did it? I mean, Randolph and Gasol so dominant in the front court. And then I thought Memphis' defense was really good, too. But the Spurs, as well as they played the regular season, just didn't have it in the playoffs. I think they needed an infusion of some young talent there in San Antonio.
Dishes to Martin. Here's the great. Jacks up a 3. Tim Duncan with the rebound. Duncan's got 9 rebounds in the game, getting it done. Blair backing down. To tie. It's rebounded by Houston. Howard's got 6 rebounds in the game. Their last game, a win against the Lakers, looking to carry it into this one.
And the major factor in that game, guys, the glass. I mean, this team dominated at both ends of the floor.
Steve, I think they were just so much more aggressive down low. I mean, they fought hard for position, and then they attacked the ball every time a shot went up.
And stolen by Scola.
Great job defensively, getting out and forcing that turnover.
Changes up, and there's the whistle. Fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line. And a quick look now at how San Antonio's schedule is shaping up. They're off to battle the Clippers after this game, as they'll be playing at the Staples Center. That'll be the first half of a 2-game trip.
Well, there's so much to like about Dwight Howard with his defense and his presence in the lane, his rebounding. How about his durability? He's only missed 3 games through his first 7 seasons in the league. Remarkable.
And he makes the first. And for Dwight Howard, when you consider the nightly pounding Clark he takes inside to be the Iron Man he is and hardly miss any games, that's impressive.
That may be the most impressive stat for him.
Yeah.
You know that? I mean, considering the punishment he takes, it's a credit to his conditioning, to his preparation, his mindset. He has to take an awful lot, and he prepares himself mentally and physically to do so.
Parker left side. And the rebound goes to the Rockets.
That's exactly where they wanted to go with the ball, even though he didn't finish.
So the whistle blows on the shot, and 2 free throws for the contact right there.
You know, last year a bit of a weird one for Terrence Williams. I mean, he started out with the Nets and then eventually was traded to the Rockets mid-season.
Mark, you brought up Terrence Williams. He broke some rules in New Jersey, too, and they sent him, Steve, remember, to the D-League as punishment.
Yeah, so talented. I mean, Terrence Williams is a guy, when you look at him and you watch him play, you think, man, he could be a star. So for him, it's a matter of maturity. If he can grow and learn how to just work on his game and keep his focus on improving his game and helping the team, got a chance to be special.
And it's sent back by Howard. Rockets leading by 7. Can't hit. Good D by Parker.
Oh, perfect opportunity to finish the break, and he blows it.
Hey, Steve, you have to be able to finish off plays like that. It's a must.
There's the dish to Jefferson. Gives him the lead pass. Duncan with the bucket. Here's the great. 12 points for him. Scola inside. No good. Now San Antonio the other way.
So far, he hasn't made much of a contribution at the offensive end. You know, guys, he's always looking for that open three. I mean, that's his strength, and sometimes the best time to get the three is in transition.
They grab their own miss. Count the basket and the foul. Tim Duncan picks one up.
You know, the teardrop sometimes is one of those, oh no, oh yeah shots.
And the Spurs making a change here. Quinn's checked in. The free throw drops for Scola.
Tell you what, I love to watch Luis Scola play, guys. He's just so efficient. He finds a way to score. He's got a nice jump shot. And his production last season for Houston was an all-time high. So he was a very, very good player for the Rockets.
Howard against Blair. Outside Kirilenko. Shoots from 12. The Rockets pull it in. Howard's got 7 rebounds in the game. Talking about Scola again, Clark, Houston needed that jump in production with Yao Ming out again.
And I tell you what, if he wasn't a big name before, Scola should be becoming one now. I think around the league, people really respect how good he is. He's strong, he's tough, he can shoot the mid-range jumper, he can finish around the goal. He's been the go-to guy the last couple of seasons for the Rockets.
He is a tough guy, you're right. It's blocked.
They've done their part here to run down a lot of missed shots. A solid rebounding effort.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I mean, they're fighting for every loose ball, putting a body on somebody and going after the rim. You got to wonder about the effort defensively. They did not get back there.
Yeah, you know what? A beautiful finish one way or the other, though.
Let's take a peek now here at the league leaders in rebounding. You take a look at Howard. No doubt one of the most efficient rebounders in the game.
You can't score if you don't have the ball. Somebody has to do some glass eating. And this guy is one of the premier glass eaters in the league. Actually, the very best.
Patrick Patterson, he's checked in for Houston. Budinger checks in for Terrence Williams. Duncan outside. Feeds it to Quinn. And there's the pass to Blair. He kicks it to Quinn. Working it around now. It's Jefferson outside, and the shot clock expires. 24-second violation. And this is what the schedule looks like for Houston. The Oklahoma City Thunder will be in town for the next one. That game will be a quick pit stop before hitting the road again. Rockets leading by 9.
You know, guys, the Spurs played great basketball against their Western Conference foes. I mean, they went 38-14 against the West.
Here's Jefferson. 15 points in the game. He feeds it to Quinn. Outside Kirilenko. Blair. Here's Quinn. 6 to shoot. Looking to end the run. Good D by Howard. Steve, when you look at the Spurs' regular season dominance a season ago, what was the key in your mind?
I thought it was Greg Popovich's style. I mean, he decided to go away from that traditional inside-out game. They got much faster as a team. They played a higher pace. And Pop knew they had to take advantage of their scoring and to cover up for the fact that they're no longer one of the most talented teams in the NBA.
You know, the Rockets don't have a singular star scorer, guys, but they focus on efficiency, and they share the ball around really well. Everybody touches it. And, in fact, Houston tied for first in assists last season at almost 24 a game. I think that speaks to unselfishness as a ball club.
Up and in on the layup. Howard's got 4 this quarter.
Just pouring it on and adding to this big lead.
Steve, they're playing outstanding basketball, and they've been doing it all game at both ends.
Duncan kicks to Anderson. Now Miles, averaging 10 points per contest. Over Martin, and the rebound goes to Howard. Howard's got 9 rebounds in the game, getting it done. You're right about that, Clark. Going back to the Rockets' unselfishness on offense, despite all that passing, they did a good job protecting the ball, too. Steve, were tied for 8th fewest turnovers in the league.
Well, it's a Rick Adelman staple as a coach. His teams have always really been solid offensively. They move the ball, but they take care of it, and that's exactly what the Rockets did a year ago. Another fast break hoop. They're just outrunning their opponent here.
You know what, Steve? I think the defense has left themselves vulnerable, and they're learning the hard way that speed definitely kills.
Duncan kicks to Neal to stop the drought, and Anderson gets it to go. Anderson's got himself going with the triple, his first basket of the game. Here's the great, 18 points for him. Backs him down. Back to Howard. Uses both hands to slam it down.
Now that's just rubbing it in, fellas.
Throwing it down with style.
These folks are not going to forget that one anytime soon.
It'll count. Neal. The shot is off. And as we end the third quarter, a double-digit deficit will make it tough to come back. Live from the AT.
The excitement builds as the NBA.
Now as we get going here in the fourth, let's send it over to Doris Burke for our Sprite Spark.
Kevin, the spark in this game, the big push by the Rockets. They've picked this defense apart, and each trip down the floor, they've managed to extend the lead. They've exerted control in every facet of this game.
Okay, Doris, thank you. And that run, Clark, really changed the complexion of this game.
Yeah, it sure did. I thought it stirred something up in them that got them on a good run.
Yeah, got the ball rolling for them, and they were able to keep it going from there, guys.
So with Howard sitting on the bench, here's the 5 for Kevin McHale right now. The great in at point guard. Scola out there with Hayes. Then there's Patrick Patterson, and it's Lee in at the shooting guard position. Patterson against Anderson. He dishes it to Splitter. Passes it to Anderson. Shot clock at 6. Wide open, couldn't capitalize. Rockets leading by 21. They're moving it around. For the 3. Here's Patterson, and fouled hard that time. He'll get to the line and shoot 2.
You know, they've really improved at the line from the first half. Things have gotten a lot.
At the line for the Rockets,
Here's Parker.
Patrick Patterson. 2 shots.
Down low, backing down is Green. Low block shot on the way, and the bank shot off the mark. So it's Houston now. Here's the great. Good on the three-point shot. He's got 23. Parker with it. Parker left side. Here's Duncan. That drops, and it comes off an assist from Parker. Parker's got 3 assists tonight. Houston in total control. The Oklahoma City Thunder will be in town for the next one. That game is the first and last of their homestand. And that one's good. 17 points for Howard.
You know, if their plan was to keep going inside a ton, it sure has paid off. I mean, it seems like every bucket they get is in the lane.
Well, no reason to take an outside shot if you're scoring at will from inside the paint.
For three, Green, no luck. On offense, here are the Rockets. Howard with a screen on Kirilenko. It's good, and he drew contact on the shot, so he will go to the line. A three-point play chance here. And the Spurs and the Rockets battle each other in the Eastern Conference, moved together to the Western Conference, and have gone head-to-head there, too. That's how long, Steve, this rivalry goes back to.
Well, you think of some of the great big man matchups over the years between these two teams. Moses Malone versus Paul Silas. Hakeem versus David Robinson, Yao Ming and Tim Duncan. It's a great rivalry that's seen some epic battles.
The turnovers have upticked for them. They can't afford to let their concentration lapse here.
Patterson dishes to Budinger. A three-pointer off the mark.
A clear look at the hoop. He doesn't miss many of those.
Gets the bucket. Tipped.
Boy, that's an empty possession when you're that loose with the basketball.
And they get it back. Here's Hayes, another block. And it's the Spurs with the ball. Parker working against Budinger. To halt the run. A nice bounce off the right iron and down. 21 points for Parker. Here's the great. He's picked up by Parker. Patterson. Duncan with the block. Not watching the line there. That'll be a backcourt violation. And the Spurs making a change here.
Your Spurs, C.J. Myers, Richard Jefferson, Chris Quinn.
Here's Hayes. Here's the great. Beyond the arc. Rebounded by the Spurs. Duncan's got 11 rebounds in the game. It's Jefferson outside. That's good.
Well, another uncontested three there. They've got to make some kind of an adjustment. I mean, they're giving up way too many open threes.
Well, the last 5 hoops, 3 have come off wide open three-pointers, Clark. So it's one thing to give up one, but you start giving three-pointers up in bunches, you're in big trouble.
Here's Blair. Banked in off the glass.
That was just a perfect feed there.
Rockets leading by 22. To the paint. The shot's good from Hayes. Hayes has got 5 points now in the quarter.
Well, I like the way he fed that ball inside with precision there.
He passes to Miles. Kicks to Blair. Now Miles. And a miss there on the triple.
Boy, in the film session, they'll say that was a well-challenged shot.
Right up. Shot is blocked. And here are the Spurs. Here's Quinn. From the arc. And the rebound goes to the Rockets. Hayes has got 3 rebounds so far in the game.
And that's the way it's been. A big margin for them in the rebounding category.
You know, sometimes you got to get down and dirty and do the dirty work. And in this one, they've done it, and it's paid off on the scoreboard in a big way.
They have no answer for him. He's just putting on a dominant display of offense.
And it's the Spurs with the ball. Now, here's Blair. Here's Quinn. San Antonio again missing. Here's the great. Not wasting any time and taking the shot and knocking it down. 30 points in the game. Here's Quinn. Duncan with it. Here's Miles. Hits it from three-point range.
He is extremely comfortable behind that three-point line. I mean, especially when you give him that kind of room to operate.
They're making this a runaway.
Now, the only question now is how big will this lead eventually become? I mean, this is a blowout.
They set the pick. Terrific design on the pick play, and he lays it in.
Boy, they are really getting chewed up inside here. I mean, that's 8 of the last 10 points they've given up inside, in the paint.
Yeah, and the paint should be sacred ground for a defense. I mean, you can't let anybody just trot in there and get an easy bucket.
San Antonio calls timeout.
Has just recorded a double-double. Congratulations.
Here's the great. And he makes good on the layup. He's got 34. Yeah, respectable, Steve, for the Rockets to win the 43 and still miss the playoffs. I mean, Clark, if they were in the East, and of course it's easy to say, but if they were, they would have been the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference in the playoff rotation.
Yeah, and they would have bumped the Pacers out of the playoffs, and I wouldn't have been too happy about
you
that.
would not
So
have liked that, no.
I'm glad it worked out just the way that it did. And that's not even taking into account the strength of the Rockets' schedule. I mean, really, the resiliency of this team to still be so tough with the injury issues they dealt with. Very, very impressive. I thought Rick Adelman and that staff and those players, really did a solid job staying together and playing really well late in the season, I thought.
Here's Parker. While recovering, Blair. And there's the rejection.
Boy, they've been all over the glass. Big advantage in the rebound totals.
Yeah, that's really carried them in this one, guys. I mean, those one-and-dones have really set a nice tone and let them establish this lead.
Here's the break. Backing him down is Duncan. And here's Blair. 6 on the shot clock. A 3-ball. Jefferson's shot is off. Houston in total control. Here's the great. On offense, here are the Spurs. Guys, a potent offense right now.
Yeah, Kevin, really the offense is flowing quite nicely right now.
Playing with a lot of confidence, just some self-assurance there. I like what we're seeing.
Jefferson gets the bucket.
They're in a groove now. These three-pointers just falling at will here in the second half.
Yeah, I think the defense has got major headaches because this team's just not missing.
So we see the Rockets taking the win here. Some days, Clark, everything goes right for a team, and they just had one of those games.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, these guys played a great all-around basketball game here.
And now for Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan thanking you for joining us tonight in our presentation of NBA on 2K Sports. Now our Jordan Player of the Game.
Good game out there tonight. It seemed like you were spreading yourself around out there pretty well. Scored some points, grabbed some rebounds, had some assists. Is an all-around game something you really pride yourself on?
Yeah, I think it is. I'm not just an offensive genius. There's a lot more to my game, and tonight was just another example of that. They're going to rename the triple-double after me when all is said and done with my career, man. This game is only a precursor, my friends. The best is yet to come.